able to have a look at
Yes,
my.
yes.
All right, wonderful. So, as Dr. already mentioned, that my name is Umar Hassan, and although I'm an assistant professor of HRM, that is a subject area of management, but my expertise they lie in leadership, and in particular, they lie in self-development. So, my previous interactions with all of you, which are already present on the Atlantic International University website, they are their Facebook page and on their YouTube page. It is about different areas of self-development. And when it comes to that, sharing our experiences is very critical. I mean, rather than the session being about me telling you about things which you would already be familiar with, I would want you guys to share your opinions, your questions, and it needs to be very interactive. But the mode of interaction that we will be using is going to be the chat box because we have a tight schedule to follow. So today we'll be talking about developing effective interpersonal skills. And why is it important? We being social beings, we being having this ability to interact, to communicate, and to talk to each other, we need to make full use of it. I believe that having excellent interpersonal skills, they help you make an impact over this world. We have to use this ability to make this world a better place. So we want to learn the different aspects of this. I'll be starting with an introductory and a kind of an icebreaker activity. What I want you guys to do is, I want you guys to think of one word that describes you. And obviously, it has to be a positive adjective. I'll start with sharing my example. I would like to describe myself as passionate. My word is, who am I? I am passionate. And my understanding of being passionate is that whatever I do it with full energy, full spirit. Otherwise, I don't do it at all. So I try to give my best effort in each and everything that I do. This is my word. What I want you guys to do is think of a positive adjective, a word that you would want to use to describe yourself, and let us see what comes in the chat boxes. All right, the first one says, I'm shy. Oh, being a shy person. It's wonderful that you are attending this session then, because if you keep your ideas to yourself, if you stay shy, how are you going to change the world? How are you going to make it a better place? All right, compassionate is another word. Very good. Keep them coming. You are going to be using this chat box a lot during this session. All right, enterprising, optimistic, wonderful, very good, wonderful, observant, listener, resilient, committed, very good, enthusiastic, very nice. On the screen, I'm sharing few examples. If you're running short on words, you will be having so many wonderful options that you can choose from. All right, you are enthusiastic, you're optimistic, you're wonderful, you're amazing. So many wonderful things to talk about. Keep them coming, keep them coming. You're humble, very nice, wonderful, wonderful. You're powerful, very good. Very good. That's so wonderful of you to share the words that describe you in a positive way. The reason why I use, and I love this icebreaker, in my training sessions, I do this and I love it because it gives us all an opportunity to describe ourselves in the way that we want. Because self-image and knowing yourself is very important when it comes to learning any skill, where regardless of the fact that whether it is the interpersonal skill or anything else, it is all about knowing yourself, developing yourself, continuously learning, growing, and having a very positive self-image. So I'm just going through so many wonderful adjectives right now: generous, hardworking, spiritual. You guys are amazing, just amazing and brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. Very good. All right. So today we are going to focus on the topic of interpersonal skills in two contexts. The first is the obvious one when it comes to being among people, the interpersonal skill on the left-hand side, where we are going to talk about your personality and social skills. But one important aspect of this which we are going to touch in the start of our session is the intrapersonal. That is directly related to the icebreaker we just did. That you're going to think about who you are, how you want to be perceived in front of other people, and few ideas regarding improving your own self. Have you guys heard of the concept of personal branding? You know, there are different brands in the world and they present themselves as a thing, as something. And whenever you hear a word, you figure out, you get an image that what we are talking about. For example, I use the word Apple. And you know, immediately the iPhone or the Apple products are going to come in your mind rather than thinking of the fruit. We'll be thinking about a mobile phone. And that is what branding is. Let me take the name of Pepsi, McDonald's. Now, they all come with an image, an impression that we can perceive. Now, you need to develop yourself as a brand, and personal branding is something that is going to help you start your journey of having effective interpersonal skills, because it starts with you, that you need to determine who you want to become and what image do you want to create in front of other people. We'll get to that. But before that, let us think about that why interpersonal skills are important and why are we talking about it today. You know, it has a both personal and professional context. When you have excellent interpersonal skills in terms of your professional understanding, you are going to do networking, you are going to hang around with people of similar interests, and it is going to help you have better opportunities to getting towards your dream job. I mean, if you want to do a job, it's good that you want to start your own business maybe, or if you want to become a leader, that would be more wonderful. But interpersonal skills are very important when it comes to professional understanding. It helps you build lasting relationships at your workplace. You know, when you have these skills, your networking skills improve, you in determine, you develop some wonderful relationships with your peers, both in your personal and professional context. It helps you to empathize with your workmates and customers. We being humans, we need to understand that there are things that we value more, and our emotions and our connections with people, they matter. It helps you to motivate the people around you. Professionally, having good interpersonal skills is going to lead you towards becoming a future leader. We are going to talk about it in this presentation today. It also contributes to overall team's productivity, morale, and success. So interpersonal skills are like the most critical skills when it comes to your professional growth. It helps drive collaboration, teamwork. It helps you gain more career growth opportunities. And it has a context of both personal and professional development. So I hope that you will be getting some idea that what we are talking about today, interpersonal skills, the ability to move around people and to do it successfully, is called interpersonal skills. So let us focus a bit more on the context of personal branding, as I just mentioned, when it comes to intrapersonal abilities. I'll be sharing a link with you in which there will be an activity of personal SWOT analysis. You don't have to do it right now, but in your spare time, I would encourage you to go through it. After I complete this slide, I will be sharing the link with you. It is important to understand your strengths and weaknesses. Do not worry what is on the screen. We are not going to ask you all these questions, but you need to conduct a SWOT analysis of your own self. By SWOT, I mean strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You need to be aware of your personal and professional strengths, because we are talking about building your persona. We are talking about building your personality. We are talking about determining your self-image. What kind of a self-image do you want to portray in front of other people? Because that is going to be the root, that is going to be the foundation of your interpersonal skills. In your icebreaker, you shared so many wonderful things, and there are still 10 chats waiting for me. All right. So All the wonderful words that you just mentioned about yourself. You're humble, you're amazing, you're hardworking, you're brilliant. I mean, you are determining a brand for your own self. And that is very important when it comes to moving among people. In interpersonal skills, you need to be very clear what image and impression you want to portray. Think of this as an example that when it comes to your strengths, I'll be going through these questions and you can think of the answers. You don't need to write them anywhere. I will be sharing a link with you so you can work on that later. What advantages do you have that other people's don't? You must be unique. You must be different. What makes you different? How are you better than the others? In what capacity are you better than the others? What resources can you access which others can't? Which of your achievements are you most proud of? What values do you believe in others which others fail to exhibit? And as a part of the network that no one is involved in, what connections do you have with influential people? So think about all the professional attributes that you need to have and try to categorize that what strengths do you have and what areas of shortcoming would you want to work on in your future. If you have a look at the weaknesses, you will see that what are the downsides. The important thing is that we need to be very clear regarding our self-image because each of us is a different individual as compared to each other. We have our own unique set of skills, our attributes that we need to work on. So our image, our impression, when it comes to interpersonal skills is going to be different. And being different is good. All right. So I hope that you may get some idea that determining your personal image, your personal brand is very important. Think of yourself as a commodity, as a product. How would you want to be perceived? How would you want to be known? That is the question. If you get an answer to this, that'll be really wonderful. That is going to help you determine your career options. That is going to help you understand what your professional goal or your passion or your purpose of life is. All right. So we are going to talk about the interpersonal skills and the must-have interpersonal skills. And these things are going to be pretty obvious. I mean, you may have heard about these things over and over again, but I would want to give you examples. I would want to hear and read your examples. So if you come up with any opinion during this session, please feel free to share in the chat box. So the first and foremost important thing is the communication skill, which is obviously, we've heard about this a lot. We want to improve upon it. One strategy, top strategy, when it comes to interpersonal skills, we need to have a you attitude. Most of the times when we are talking, when we are communicating with other people, it is about us. When people are sharing if you are in a conversation with someone and they start sharing a tragedy that they encountered, suddenly the same relevance comes in our mind and we start sharing our tragedy with them. That is how our conversation goes. This is not a very good thing to do, because in a conversation, make sure when it comes to having a good interpersonal relationship, developing a good interpersonal relationship with the other people, it needs to have a you attitude. Give them the true value. Try to make sure that they believe that you are actively listening. You have genuine interest in their stories, in their lives. We have heard about active listening. I mean, I can just show you on the slide right away that active listening is a part of communication. And when it comes to active listening, it's not about the body language only, that you are just like nodding your head and just trying to show the other person that you are actively listening. It is about having a genuine interest in their ideas, giving them true value. This is the most important thing. When it comes to, I was yesterday I was going through a video on YouTube, uh, and it was about a research that was conducted on a group of people living in US maybe, and the last 4 decades of their life was evaluated. The target of that research was that what is the key thing that leads towards having a long life. Like the researcher was trying to understand that what is the crux, what is the true reason, what is the factor that contributes towards having a long life. So they studied people who were having 75, 80 years, 85 years of life. And they tried to determine that what was the factor. Was it money? Was it health? Was it something else? You know what? They were able to determine that what was the leading reason, how people were able to live long lives, what was the common factor among them. It was the quality of their social relationships. The people who were able to live a long life had quality relationships in their lives, friends, family members, peers. So in order to have a quality relationship in our lives, the need for interpersonal skills is very high. And obviously when we are among people, nobody would ever want to continuously hear about you. They would want to share their opinions as well. They would want to have expression of their ideas as well. So there is an aspect of empathy in this. Empathy, having care, concern, genuine interest in other people's opinions. Now, there is this research that I quote a lot. Another example of a research that I quote a lot, probably in my earlier sessions, I have quoted it. Since I am a teacher and I'm in a service, I'm not selling any product, I'm selling a service. So there are doctors who are selling services. There are policemen who are selling services. So there was another study that was conducted on the doctors. The patients who were facing dread diseases, they were asked that what top factor do you find most appealing or would you want to see in your doctor who is treating you? What is the top quality, top characteristic, top trait that you would want to see in the doctor who is treating you? And these questions were asked from the patients who were facing dread diseases. I mean, they were in the last stages of their health. So 80% of them responded that we want our doctors to have an ear that listens. We want our doctors to have a sense of empathy. You know, when the patient is sharing what he or she is going through, they wanted their doctors to show care, concern. So remember this thing that in order to be very effective in interpersonal communication or have interpersonal skills, we need to empathize a lot and we need to show genuine concern and interest in other people and their opinions. This is called the you attitude. When you approach people with a you attitude, you will find that you are able to develop lasting relationships. And that is obviously the main objective of having interpersonal skills, whether it is your professional environment or your personal life. All right. So when it comes to communication skills, obviously there are three categories: verbal, non-verbal, and active listening. So in order to improve all these, I mean, there are many videos and there are many tools that you can see online. I will be sharing some links as well. But the thing that I wanted to highlight today was the you attitude. That is going to make you a better communicator and that is going to help you develop more interpersonal skills. All right, I will be sharing the presentation with you. It's already being recorded. Don't worry about it. Feel free to share your opinions and ask questions. These are all this topic and what we are talking about, these are related to our daily experiences. There is no rocket science in my topics. I try to genuinely encourage the people to share their opinions and ask questions. So whatever comes to your mind, feel free to use the chat box and share. All right. I think this is the most valuable thing that everyone needs to learn. We have talked about emotional intelligence. The basic definition of I already have a session on this, a full 1 hour session on this topic earlier, and it's present on the university web page or Facebook page. But just to give you an idea how this is related to interpersonal skills, being aware of your own emotions, I mean, knowing what makes you feel more excited, knowing what makes you feel sad, all right? These are the top emotions that we genuinely encounter, regularly encounter. I mean, we feel happy, and I want to feel happy all the time. We feel excited. Sometimes we feel sad. We feel depressed. We feel angry. Am I missing any emotion? Would you want to write it down in the chat box? Am I missing any emotion? Any emotion that you feel on a regular basis that I just missed? Feel free to share. Happiness, excitement, sadness, anger. These are the emotions. I mean, we need to understand emotional intelligence tells us that we need to use these emotions for our career growth, for to excel in our lives. Yeah, we feel depressed at times. Not a cool thing to do. Say no to feeling depressed. All right? Take it from your teacher. Take it from your instructor today. Say no to feeling depressed. Feel happy all the time. It's not possible, I know, but at least we can try. So we need to use these emotions to grow and excel in our lives and in our professions. When you are able to understand yourself, you know that what triggers your happy mood, what triggers your excitement. So you are going to design your life around these actions that you would want to have. For example, for example, a happy employee is a productive employee. This is what we hear and say in our management classes. And this is what we teach in our leadership classes as well, that you make your employees happy, they will be more productive. So the focus is less on productivity, the focus is more on making them happy. So for that, the companies need to understand that what are the factors that make them happy. That is emotional intelligence. You are going to be more productive when you're happy. So the question is, what makes you happy? So once you understand what makes you happy, in our part of the world, I mean, generally, when we go on social media, the word job is considered as a very negative word. I mean, there are so many memes on it, and people are making fun of this thing, and people say that bosses are a group of bad people. A job is something that is terrible, and you should not be doing it. I mean, generally, I mean, we all have to earn our living, but just saying that our feeling towards job is is a bit stressful, is something negative. So I think on this that what if I'm doing a work that I really like, that I really love, and my work makes me feel happy. So will I be having the same feelings regarding my job? If your job, if your work, it makes you happy, would you be having a negative image of that? So in order to do that, once we need to understand that what makes us happy and then find our career, then find our purpose over there. So the four pillars of emotional intelligence, very quickly, they are self-awareness. Two of them are regarding your own self. They are intrapersonal based. Self-awareness, we have already talked about it, and self-regulation. The next two are about the interpersonal skills. The first two pillars of emotional intelligence are about knowing yourself, and the next two are about knowing the other people. I've already mentioned about empathy, and the next is developing social skills. I have already conducted a session on social intelligence as well. It is already there. The reason why I'm referring to my earlier sessions is because I'm conducting a series of sessions based on self-development. So all my topics are interrelated. So if you miss something over here, you can always go back and check on my previous lectures, and you will find a complete story that I'm following. All right. So we need to have emotional intelligence. That includes having empathy and knowing other people, caring for them. All right. Thank you for the wonderful feedback. You can share your questions and opinions and examples as well. And at the end, I will be giving you around 10 minutes to share your thoughts, to share your opinions. Okay. This emotional intelligence thing, it works really well when you are having a conversation with a child. If any one of you have children, they will be able to understand my opinion that understanding children is a complex thing. I mean, you get to know what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what makes them feel afraid, because their emotions are forming. Dealing with the employees in a leadership context is more or less the same. Okay, so it is very important to understand your emotions and the emotions of people around you. It helps you develop your interpersonal connectivity, because you would be understanding that what emotions have a priority for the other people, and you would want to start your conversation, or you would want to do actions that make them go towards their desired emotion. Okay, this is basic concept of interpersonal skill. Another very important and exciting aspect of interpersonal skills is teamwork and collaboration. Collaboration and synergy is something very important. We to understand that 1 plus 1 equals 11. Although in mathematics it equals 2, but in teamwork, in collaboration, in synergy, it equals 11. Like if two people can work together, they can give ideas, they can perform like 11 people if they synergize. This is one ability that Stephen Covey talks about. We did discuss 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Some wonderful content over there. You need to have a look after this session whenever in your spare time. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits is that effective people, they synergize, they collaborate. We cannot change this world on our own. I mean, it's good to have your solo time and have your individual self. But when it comes to creating a difference, when it comes to proceeding, when it comes to progress, we need to collaborate. And collaboration is a skill that we need to learn. It includes tolerance, it includes adaptability, it includes authenticity, honesty, and all the positive traits that we know of. So when we are working among teams, we need to be a top performer, but we need to understand that what is the target or goal of our team and be a very productive and excellent player. The teamwork and collaboration includes obviously having self-awareness. I mean, we talk about it a lot. I believe that in terms of self-development, the main aspect is knowing yourself, developing yourself, understanding your uniqueness, understanding what makes you special. Firstly, believing that you are special, and then understanding what makes you special. We all have I mean, if you allow me, I can like speak on it for hours, because this is my key area. There is a theory, multiple intelligences theory by Howard Gardner. I think I should be sharing these things on the chat box as well, so that later on when you have a look. So multiple intelligences theory is a wonderful thing. He says that children who are born, they have by design in their genes, they have different attributes. Like some by birth, some are pretty good at maths by birth. Some have a tendency towards understanding the musical aspect. Like if you give me a guitar and if you ask me to just come up with any tune in an hour, you give me 60 minutes and you tell me to come up with any tune, I won't be able to do it. I'm pretty lousy when it comes to musical instruments. I won't be able to do it. But there are people, you give them any instrument and they just like start getting a hang of it. So this means they have a natural tendency towards Music. Similarly, there are other intelligences that Howard Gardner also mentions. So you do need to have a look over there. My question is, are you aware of your intelligence? Are you aware that what is your special thing? Because according to that, you will be developing your persona, and according to that, you will be then developing your interpersonal skill. All right. So self-awareness is going to be a constant part of everything. That is why each infographic, each slide shows this word. You must be thinking, why are we talking about it over and over again? It all starts with you. Okay. So in teamwork and collaboration, honesty, already mentioned, a team spirit, collaborative spirit, exemplary communication, having a sense of responsibility and reliability. I'm sure that you would be asking yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, you should be rating yourself. 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, you should be giving yourself marks. That in terms of having a sense of responsibility on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself? Those who would want to give themselves a 10, who say when it comes to sense of responsibility, I'll give myself a 10. They can share in the chat box. It'll be like fun to read because this is a very important attribute and it's quite lacking in people. Similarly, empathy, already mentioned that we need to understand that people are different while working in teams. We need to understand they have their own needs, they have their own issues. Sometimes they have their problems to deal with. So we need to be very kind, but do not compromise on the overall team performance. Similarly, humility and obviously a positive attitude. I mean, positivity is something that this world needs a lot. Having an optimistic frame of mind, believing that good things are going to come, and not only believing, but like sharing these things with your group members as well. People, they like positive people also. When you continuously talk about negative things and you seem depressed all the time, people are going to run off. I mean, your children are going to run off. So it's good to have a pleasant, positive personality and talk about good things, talk about hope, talk about ideas. And when you start talking about these things, they start happening. So on the other hand, obviously, if you continue to talk about the negative things, then negative things are going to happen. I really need this presentation. All right, you'll get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be sharing. Wonderful. I mean, this chat box is something very interesting. So keep sharing your ideas. Uh, you will be getting a PDF of this. Don't worry, and I'll be sharing few links at the end as well. So don't worry about that. All right. Okay. Moving forward, what are the other must-have interpersonal skills? I'm keeping an eye on the time as well. Okay. As mentioned earlier, leadership, undoubtedly. And when it comes to leadership, my perspective starts with self-leadership. I have a different way of looking towards this world. I always start from the inside. I believe that leading yourself first is more important. And when you are able to achieve this, only then you can become a very good leader. I mean, the general understanding of a leader is that someone who leads other people, someone who leads his or her followers. So before you become a leader who leads other people, you need to firstly achieve self-leadership. And self-leadership, obviously, it starts with self-awareness. Now, there we go again. Why are we talking about self-awareness again? I mean, each and every one of my slide has this point because this is my area of expertise. And I believe if you get to know yourself, if you get to conquer yourself, then you have conquered the world. I think this is the biggest challenge. Have a look back at your life. I mean, connect the dots for me. I'm sure that you may have heard about this concept of connecting the dots. If not, You need to go through the life of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. And in just 1 hour, we mentioned Apple twice. So Steve Jobs was a wonderful individual and he talked about connecting the dots. So you need to have a look on the internet later that what is this idea. But let me ask you this question. Have a look back at your life. Reflect upon the achievements that you've got in your life. How they have shaped you up as an individual. How have those achievements shaped up your personality, your professional goals, your life? When you are self-aware, you understand your story. I mean, each and every one of us, we have a very limited time. Although I wish and I pray that you live forever, we live forever. I pray for myself that I live forever. I want to. So, but we have a very limited time. If this is our journey, like the day we were born and the day we are going to go, we are probably here or we are probably here. Okay. So in this short span of time, we need to create a difference. We need to make sure that our life, our time on earth, it benefited other people, it benefited the system, it benefited the planet. I mean, anything that. So when you understand your pattern of achievements, when you connect the dots, only then you will be able to understand that what is your story and what you need to do. Okay. It helps you understand your potential, your responsibility, and it guides you, leads you towards achieving what you are destined to achieve. I have another hypothesis and I usually share it, but just to remind you quickly, each and every one of us will get an opportunity, in fact, multiple opportunities to make an impact. I mean, regardless of where you are living, what you are going through, each and every one of us, and this is the design, this is the nature's design. This is the design of, of our lives that each and every one of us are going to get numerous opportunities. The ones who are going to capitalize on them, the world is going to remember them. Elon Musk, Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama. I mean, you just name all the people. We all get opportunities, but only few are able to grab on them at the right time, at the right moment, and they become something. So when you are able to understand the story of your life, lead yourself, only then. Okay. So apart from motivating your own self in terms of having excellent interpersonal skills, you need to have an inspiring personality. And how can you do that? It's not about the way you look. It's not about the clothes that you dress up. It's about your ideas, your way of life, your approach towards life. So your approach towards life, yeah, recognizing the opportunities is key. Christopher, thank you for sharing. True. You need to have an inspiring perspective towards life and to motivate other people. Make sure that you help them grow. Whether you are in a professional context or in your normal life, the people around you should find you as an encourager, as a supporter, not as someone who is like criticizing all the time. Because you know that is a negative trait and then people will run off. So when you good leaders, I mean, when people they talk about having good leaders, if you think about good leaders in your life, you will find them as people who had empathy, who were very kind, who supported you, who motivated you, who were there for you. Okay. So be that kind of a leader. So that is going to help you develop your interpersonal skills. Be a problem solver. Seek solutions. Talk less about problems, talk more about solutions. When people around you, whether in your professional context or in your personal life, when they see you as a problem solver, they find this appeal, and your bond with them, it strengthens. In workplace, this is considered to be a top trait, one of the top traits, that you need to have a solution-oriented individual, not a problem-oriented individual. When I started my career, like 20 years back, when I joined my first university in a very progressive organization, and I was very young, and I'm still young, by the way, but I was very young at that time. So when I joined that university, I had the opportunity to work under a wonderful leader. And the first thing that I learned from him was that he used to ask us that, what are the issues in your department? So we started talking about that this is the issue, this is the issue, this is the issue. So he said that do not bring issues, bring solutions. Do not bring problems, bring solutions. So I just thought that if I need to bring solutions, then what is the role of the leadership? But that was the best thing that happened to us. Now I'm in a position where I'm in a leadership capacity. So whenever somebody comes to me with a problem, I ask them, please come with a solution as well. Because I think that helps you grow and become a better professional. And develop trustworthiness. I mean, you should be having integrity. People should be able to develop a relationship of trust with you in normal life, in like normal interactions and in professional interactions. And this is the question that you need to ask yourself. I mean, nobody is judging, but you would want to ask yourself that, are you an individual that has a relationship of trust with other people? Can people trust you? Just yes or no. Can people trust you? Are you trustworthy? Are you authentic? Do you have integrity? Because these things are critical when it comes to interpersonal skills. It's not a skill that is like based on a technical ground. It is basic human interactive skills. I mean, people like genuine people. People like who they can trust, who they can rely on. All right. I mean, nobody likes a dodger. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Moving forward quickly. We've learned some wonderful things today, I'm sure. If not, we still have 15 minutes to go, so I'll give it my best shot. Another must-have interpersonal skill is being assertive. I mean, it's a very tricky thing to do. Do not be passive-aggressive, be assertive. What does it mean? When it comes to communicating, you need to set boundaries. When it comes to having interaction, have very clear boundaries. And those boundaries, they do not make you a rigid person. They do not impact you in any negative way. They determine who you are and how you want to proceed. When sharing your opinions, use I statements, because you're trying to force something, you're trying to show something, you are helping your self-esteem reflect your opinions, and you are giving a message that you would not be bullied around. Okay? And learn to say no as well. Not a yes man cannot go a long way in any workplace. It is not the right approach. You need to be selective. Although it is difficult, it's difficult saying no, because if you're a genuinely kind person, you feel kind of like bad. For me being a teacher, I want to really help all my students and all my colleagues, but I do have a limit. I mean, at times I have to say no, and it really kills me, because for that person, I become a very bad person because I just said no. But this is the boundary that I need to set for myself. Boundaries are wonderful. All right. So be assertive, handle criticism positively, and show and practice confidence. This is the point that I like the most. I mean, confidence is not just something that you have in your mind or in your soul. You need to show and practice it as well. On all given opportunities, make sure that you reflect your personality as you believe in your ideas, you believe in your actions, because, you know, whenever it comes to making big decisions, nobody knows the answers for them. I mean, think, let's talk about Apple for the third time today. So when they were designing the iPhone, they did not know the future. How would they know that it's going to be successful? Because they have a sense of belief. Although they have data, they have worked on it, they have facts, they have done sampling, they know the consumer pulse, but they need to make that decision. They need to be confident that this is what we have and we have to make full use of that. So that is how you are going to reflect your personal brand when it comes to interpersonal skills. An individual who has a clarity of thoughts and ideas, all right? Unshakable confidence, very critical, very important, all right? If you have any, all right, integrity is critical. I'm just going through the, very good. In order to develop leadership, a need to lead by example is essential. Very good, very nice. Some wonderful thoughts and opinions coming in the chat box. All right, my final slide for today. What are the daily practice tips that we can use to improve our interpersonal skills? Positivity goes a long way. Cultivate a positive outlook of everything that you have in your life. I mean, life is going to be tough. Things are going to be difficult. But the best part is you need to hang on and you need to hope, pray, believe that good things are coming your way. And this positivity, it not only helps you improve your interpersonal skills, I believe it makes this world a better place. Because by your positive outlook, by your positive attitude, people, they feel inspired. I mean, your positivity can make someone's day brighter. If you are on social media, if you guys are using social media, I'll encourage you to have a very positive outlook. Because whenever, I mean, my opinion of social media is that it's kind of an exhaust and outlook for negativity. I mean, people are just being critical, I mean, sharing negative things. Most of the times we need to change that, have a very positive, constructive outlook. Continue to develop yourself, read, learn, and be aware. I mean, in order to be effective in interpersonal context, you need to have knowledge about many things. You need to be aware of many things. I mean, I'll give you my example. You know, the students that I'm teaching right now, we have a generation gap. I mean, they are like 20 years younger than me. All right. So they are from an internet generation, and their hobbies and their interests are quite different as compared to mine. But I like to stay abreast. I'm active on social media. I try to learn what these students are using. If they are playing games, even some games they become very popular, like PUBG or other games which they are using, I try to play them as well just to stay abreast with their needs. This is a part of development as well. So reading is a obviously a very good habit. I'm sure I've given you examples of some wonderful self-development articles, materials that you can read. Always find an opportunity to do small talk, break the ice. In terms of interpersonal skills, I must say, over the time that I've been interacting with Atlantic International University students, I have received emails and inbox messages from the students. Although I try to reply to all of them, but I'm not like, sometimes I'm not active at a certain medium, and like after a couple of months when I see there is a message pending, so I feel really bad that I was not able to respond on time. But I do find this thing that their ability to communicate, to interact, to break the ice, to ask, they're very courteous, very polite, and very wonderful emails are coming from them, from Atlantic International University students. Regarding my sessions, they ask me certain questions and things. Wonderful. Very good. This shows that This small talk, this networking, it can be done on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is a social networking platform. It has helped me a lot. I try to connect with people who are of similar profession and similar mindset, and we talk about ideas. So it's good to break the ice. And when it comes to one-on-one interactions, personal interactions, I mean, just talk to people, just reach out to them, and enjoy that as well. Somebody said at the start that I'm very shy. So if being shy means that you don't want to talk to people, I would ask you not to be shy, please. I'm going to be very straightforward about this. Don't be shy. Just talk to people. The you can make a huge difference, Parag. The next thing is you can volunteer. Obviously, social groups. I mean, there are many activities and things that we can do rather than just waiting for some job that pays us. We in our communities we do have social groups. I mean, if you want to share an example of a social group that is in your community, feel free to use the chat box. For us, we do some kind of charity work. We do some collaborative educational activity. It's good to engage in social groups and volunteer, getting to know new people. I recently joined a hobby-based group that is a cycling club of our city. I recently joined it on WhatsApp and on Facebook, and I got to meet so many wonderful people. Before this session, I was talking to them. We were planning something for the weekend. So that helps us to build work on our interpersonal skills. Because the people who are regularly around you, you get to know them easily, but talking or interacting with new people helps you more. When it comes to regular interaction, as I already mentioned, that show yourself as an authentic individual, acknowledge the ideas of other people, no matter what is going on in your mind. Please be polite, be courteous, acknowledge, and compliment. Always compliment, make someone's day better. There must be something that they are doing which is making your life better. All right, let me give you a very small assignment to all of you. It's not a graded assignment. Probably it's going to help us in our afterlife, but right now this is not a graded activity. What I want you to do is any family member who is cooking for you, who is cleaning for you, who is there for you, and you are taking them for granted for a longer period of time, just take some time out today, reach out to him or her and say thank you. Do not just say thank you and just run off. Make 4 or 5 sentences and share with them why you are grateful to have them in your life. I know that you do believe in your heart, and I've been married for 16 years now. I mean, I just took a pause and I thought about how many years I've been married for. Thank God my wife is not here because she would be thinking that why did I take a pause and think. So I find each and every opportunity to thank my wife for being there for me rather than just thinking that she may assume that since we are together, so this obviously means that I'm happy to have her. I have to say it. So say it for the people around you. Tell them that they are special to you and you acknowledge and compliment. Always seek feedback. I just mentioned in being assertive that deal with criticism in a constructive manner. So seek feedback, compare that how that feedback is going to help you and continue to improve. And at the end, my final point for today is practice gratitude, be grateful for everything that you have. We want many things to happen in our lives. I mean, tough things may be happening right now, but as long as you have health, as long as you have people around you who care for you, as long as you have hope, As long as you have the energy, the spirits, be grateful for that. I am grateful. I'll end this session by saying that I am grateful for all of you for paying so much attention towards all the things that I had to share. I'm really grateful for Atlantic International University for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. All right. Okay. So one last point is left on the slide, that is investing on relationships. I've already mentioned that from all these points in interpersonal skills, you'll be able to know that all relationships are important. Professional, personal, we need to invest on them. They're not going to happen on their own. They're not going to go on their own. They require conscious effort. So please make sure that you always make that effort. So there are point. Oh, so wonderful. Avoid being a Mr. Know-it-all. Very good. We have a group that goes to community to educate the people. Very good. Voluntary activity. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I'm in a social group. We always go and check patients from the hospital with food baskets. And we also pray and encourage them. Wonderful. So wonderful. All right. So you found it very motivating. That is really wonderful. I just need to exit my chat box. All right. I was able to do it. So, students, you can always reach out to me. Surprisingly, I've delayed few responses, and I got a complaint in the previous session that I did not reply to a specific email. I did spend 5-10 minutes finding that email. I was not able to. So if that student is present today as well, you can just I can apologize from you, and you can send me that email again. So that is the end from my side.